If you're a real estate agent earning $200,000 a year and you want to grow your passive income, this show is for you. Learn secrets other agents use and hear from experts in our field who will guide you on your journey to investing in assets like apartment communities so you can take your commissions and turn them into cash flow. Here's your host, Randal. Let's dive in.
All right. Welcome back. It's great to have you on today. I'm doing a quick episode on the calculator in the actual Excel format that I use in order to review all the single family properties that are coming in from wholesalers or things that we find and source ourselves. And just wanted to share how we use it so that if you're looking at investing in the RAM Capital Fund, you'll understand how we're actually doing the due diligence on the front end of those deals. So if you're not watching on YouTube, I highly suggest you go over to YouTube and you can take a look at this video and I'll actually walk through exactly what we're looking at on these deals as they come through. So I'm going to use a fake example. Let's just go ahead and jump in. I'm going to use this example, and I may have gone through this before in the past, but I really wanted to use it again just so that you could see the types of deals that we're looking at. I've got an example already loaded in here. It's 123 Main Street. It's 3-bed, 2-bath. So I'm going to change some of this to one of the properties that we just bought. It's a 2-bed, 1-bath. And actually it's 1.5, so it's a 1.5, and it doesn't have a garage or carport. None. It is 1250 square feet. ARVs, actually, I'm entering in all of this stuff. Again, if you're watching and following along on YouTube, you'll actually see what I'm entering, but I have set up this sheet so that every kind of deal that is possible, once I look at one deal, I use this sheet so that I can always go back and actually review the properties that we've looked at in case they come back online or in case somebody else buys them. We can see what we offered compared to what they did, what our ARV is compared to what their ARV was. So it's a great tool. I'm going to make this free as well. So if you want to download this, you can go to commissiontocashflow.com. The link's going to be in the show notes. Start putting everything that we talk about in the show on a free resource page that you can just go to and you can download any of those resources so that you always have them. If you're looking at it, we'll make a list of all the books that have been recommended. Everything's going to be in one spot on one page. So we're working on that in the back end. But now, for now, again, if you're just listening on a podcast, I'm entering all the information about this property on a single page on the very first. And then what I'm going to do is I cut this line out or I copy it and I paste it into another tab on this sheet. And then it populates across a number of sheets. So it's like a multifamily underwriting type deal. But I am using this for the single family. Again, this is the deal that we just bought. The ARV is $215,000. The rehab, so there's a couple ways to look at this thing. I could pay cash for this thing, which we already paid cash for it, and we could end up spending $40,000 to $50,000 on the property to sell it retail for $215,000. We are probably going to owner finance this, so we could keep the single pane windows. We could keep the layout the way it is. We don't actually have to turn this into a 2-2. We were going to convert one of the bathrooms. We were going to move the laundry room. We were going to do a number of things, but instead we're just going to close off a garage. We're going to finish it out. And it was only really half garage. They'd already done a partial conversion in the past. And so what we're doing is just keeping most of the layout. We're going to save a bunch of money on the rehab, clean up the yard, and we're probably going to spend about $25,000 on repairs. Actually, say 30 because we just redid a few things. So this sheet is also set up if you are going to wholesale. So if you want to look at a quick wholesale number, and I know that the ARV is 215, rehab costs are 30, and I want a 70% deal, then the max I would pay for this thing is $120,000. So when we bought it, it was closer to a 50 because we were thinking we were going to do a retail. And so I want a 70% deal, and this is how I priced it. So we bought this thing for $100,000. So really, when you're looking at this thing, we are getting it at a 60% deal. I'm sorry, 61. So I just play with the numbers until I get to about what we offered. Taxes on this, I think we're $3,500. Insurance is closer to $1,200. Future rents. So again, this thing is going to calculate all kinds of different. This is a wholesaler. Single family, future rents. This will calculate the return on investment just from this page very quickly if you put in the future rents for the property. We ran the numbers. I'd have to do them again. But for this deal, what I do is I'll take the whole tab. I'll copy it. I'll put it into this entry line up here, and it rewrites everything the way I just had it, right? And then what it will do is populate offer table if you're going to wholesale, how big of a fee you want, what you should be buying it for an 80, 75, 70% deal. It'll tell you if you do a cash rental, what this deal will look like. So it's a 10% ROI if you were to buy it and pay cash. And that's 3% property management fee, vacancy of 5%, insurance that all populates, taxes. So then my total annual would be $6,000 on that was expenses. Total cash flow, net cash flow would be 12,000 on a $125,000 all-in cost, something like that. So that's how it calculates this number very quickly. And then the ARV model based on sold comps, you can come in here and quickly just type in a low number for the dollar per square foot. So if it was $1.80, let's go with $1.70 or 170. So on a low end, this thing's selling for $212. And then you can just see if we get up to $183 a foot, then it's going to be around 230,000. So it's a very quick calculator. If you just type in one number, it'll give you a range of prices that this thing could sell for. So again, the whole point of this is to explain, if you're looking at the RAM Capital Fund and you're wondering how we're looking at deals, this is basic. Very first thing we always do. This takes about 5 or 10 minutes for us to analyze a deal very quickly and understand where we are on the price point, what people are asking. So again, if somebody wanted a super high number, let's say that they're at 80, we'd be paying $142,000 for this deal. It's a very tight deal already. And so there's not much spread in there. We don't like to be in deals like that. Again, it tells us very quickly what somebody is selling it to us for. I think when they initially put this thing out, it was probably at $130,000. And so that would have been 80, 75%. Yeah, 75% deal, but they were at a $40,000 rehab. So yeah, it was closer to 80 what they were selling this thing for. And again, those numbers just don't work for us. Let's go back to what we had. There we go. Because what I want on this screen, this is the main entry tab. Again, if you're just listening, on the main entry tab that I'm entering all the information in, it's going to be a list of addresses so that I can always go in and I can just Control F and find the address that we're looking for and then see what it is that I offered. So every time after I go into and put it in the entry and I rework whatever I'm going to do over here, I'm going to show you all these other tabs in a second. I will just copy and paste this last entry back onto the main screen. So that way we can keep track of all of the final offers and things that we submitted. Okay. So again, once I have it on the main entry tab and I've got all of the information basically the way that I want it. So we're buying a 60% deal, paying $30,000 in rehab. So we're going to be all in this deal at $130,000, give or take, right? Then I need to go back if I really want to get in. If the deal is close, we made it close with the seller and or the wholesaler or whatever, then I'll come in and the next tab is the rehab work. I want to look in and see quickly through pictures how much the actual rehab is going to cost. And this thing is fairly extensive and you can obviously update all of the pricing for yourself and how it works. Most of these, if you click on it and you look up here, these are formulas that should be formulas. So we may update this because this is a formula. So if it's not a formula, then it's a flat replace the roof. You need to get a bid on that. And then you're just going to put a price in there. This is the first column is for labor and materials. And then if you're just looking at materials and labor, you can break those out as well. Or you can just simply come over here and hide these columns if you don't want to see those because there's too much in there. So go hide, boom. All right. And then what you can do is once you're done with this, you have a scope of work. If you want to send this to your contractor, you can, again, hide these columns and everything that you put an X next to, you filter by the X, just with an X. And these are the only things you want somebody to bid on, right? So it's a very quick way for you to come in and create a scope of work for contractors and then to make sure that you're getting everything in the bid and the same bid from all the contractors, because that's always a pain to get one guy bidding on two things and then another guy bidding on everything. And yeah, so anyway, we go in, we do this, assuming that our rehab number comes out to about the same price. This is information from another deal, so this isn't pertinent to this deal, but I would go through and I would say, We're going to have to do foundation repair. Okay, get a bid. Roof, how much is the roof going to cost? How many dumpsters are we going to need? All the way down to light fixtures, drywall sheets, everything's in here. Toilets, vanity lights, all that stuff is in here. And we have pretty standard pricing across the board. And if you're doing a bunch of rehabs, I recommend you do the same. So again, we put this in. Let's assume that our number's right. Cool. $30,000. We're there. Now, what are we going to do with this thing? Are we going to conventional loan rental? No, we're not on this deal. But if you come to this tab, you can start going through and see all the different types of fees on the purchase and closing costs, right? So if you're buying this from the wholesaler, you may be paying a bunch of fees. Your price is going to be inclusive of their wholesale fee, but it's not going to be inclusive of taxes, insurance, survey, title insurance, all those things. So make sure you put this information in here because this 22 carries over to 2,600 carries over to your actual closing costs. So again, this is a traditional purchase with conventional loan. Not what we're doing, but I'm just showing you this for the purposes of this video. So your purchase price, LTV is going to be something that you're going to enter. How much are you actually getting on the loan to value? And then it'll calculate your loan amount, repairs, remaining loan balance. So this gives you your cash due at closing. So that's one tab. This is if you are looking to sell this thing as a wholesale. So it's just a quick way to look at a deal. I need to clean the sheet up, but if you're going to wholesale this thing, then you could take this, go all the way down, copy and paste it into a marketing flyer that you're putting out, and it will basically tell your investor who you're selling this deal to what they're selling it for. This purchase price is for them. If I came over here and I put in, I wanted a $15,000 fee, then the offer price is going to be here. That's what we would buy it for. Sale price is still here, the 100,000. So if you go over to the marketing sheet, again, we're selling for 100,000 to our investor, right? But we're buying it from the seller at $85,000. So that's just what that means. Again, gives you a way to market the deal. So let's keep going down here. Let's say we buy it cash. This is what it looks like. We're buying it for $100,000. Our closing costs, because we paid title insurance and a few other things, we're in it for 103. Repairs, 30,000. We're all in costs 133. So that's basically what we did. This is if we're going to refinance. What do we think we can get our loan to value once we refi? We know the total value. So we're going to get $160,000 loan. We'd actually be pulling out $33,000. Let's see, initial investment, refi closing costs. Actually, okay, so because the closing costs we're saying there's going to be 6% closing costs. That's not always the case, but that's a high number. And then it calculates what the deal would look like going forward based on those rents that you put in earlier, 1,600. See, so again, that's one type of deal. Cash flip. Let's see. All right. So then, yeah, if we were to flip this thing, our net profit would be $61,000. Again, I haven't really had to do anything in here. How long is it going to take? So these blue lines, like how long is it going to take to flip? That will calculate your taxes and insurance and your holding costs. So months to flip and sell, boom, tells you those things. Hard money flip, how much? So our net profit on a hard money flip is 36 compared to a cash flip. Significant difference just based on the cash required and the total costs, right? So $8,000. This is 10, so let's say 3 months. So $53,000, right? So it was the holding time. It'll calculate the hard money, rehab, refi, rental. So that's a BRRRR strategy if you wanted to borrow money. Conventional assignment. Again, this is what it looks like, how much money you would make if you were going to assign this deal. And then if you're talking to sellers directly, we have a seller proceeds sheet that you can actually copy and print. Let's do this. Okay. So it'll give you the seller proceeds. Again, you can take this and use it as marketing collateral if you're going direct to seller and talking to them. It'll compare what happens if you renovate and sell with a realtor compared to no fixing and selling through a realtor, still going to have commissions, or selling your house too, and then put your name in here. Well, that's a house buyers are. Again, it'll show them the breakdown. If you fill this information out, you have to fill out this sheet. It's not actually tied to the other things. So we can clean that up, or you can clean it up when you get it as well. Private lender rental, and then the marketing sheet. So again, there's a ton of information that we go through to quickly analyze the deal. And then this is just one tool that we have. So if you're wondering how we are analyzing the deals when we are buying them ourselves, this is our go-to sheet. It tells us everything that we need to know, and it gives us different deal scenarios. If we were to flip it, keep it, any of the options that we have. So hopefully this is helpful. Again, if you want access to this sheet and any of the other documents that we're using, then definitely head over to commissiontocashflow.com/free, I believe is the link. If it's so go down to the links below in the show notes, and we'll have that copied in there as well. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, podcast at Agents Building Cashflow, and we will chat and let you know. If you're interested in investing in the RAM Capital Fund, go over to ridgelineig.com and go to the offerings tab, and there you'll find information about the RAM Capital Fund. You can ping us there, talk to me directly through the chat bot on that page as well, and I'm happy to answer any questions about that. Happy investing. Take care. Talk to you soon.
Did you know that 80% of the agents we speak with got into real estate in order to gain passive income so they could obtain financial freedom and become work optional? If you want to stay up to date, the best way is to make sure you're subscribed. So if you haven't done that, go ahead and do it now. We'll catch you on the next episode.